something's changing at Heartland Ranch, something deeper than what the trailers are willing to show. Behind those quiet Alberta skies and the gentle rhythm of the horses, there's a storm brewing. Secrets are tightening their grip, old wounds are reopening, and every familiar smile hides a silent question. What happens when the truth refuses to stay buried? Heartland Season 19, Episode 2, titled "Two Can Keep a Secret," is shaping up to be one of the most emotionally intense episodes the series has delivered in years. The newly released trailer doesn't just tease upcoming drama, it exposes cracks beneath the family's calm surface. Amy Fleming, still finding her balance between healing and moving forward, stands at the center of it all. The episode's tone feels heavy, yet hopeful, filled with quiet moments that hint at something big waiting to surface. Every glance, every line of dialogue feels loaded, as if the characters are holding back more than they're saying. And if you followed Heartland long enough, that's when the real story begins. The trailer opens with subtle tension. Amy is back in her element, training horses and guiding her daughter Lindy. But this time, it's different. Her voice is calm, but her eyes betray her. Something is haunting her thoughts. There's a sense that Amy's been pushing herself too hard, trying to fill the silence left by Ty's absence. Her return to full-time training seemed like a fresh start, yet Episode 2 makes it clear that healing isn't a straight path. Lindy's confidence begins to crumble under pressure, and we see the same fear flicker in Amy's face, the fear that her daughter might be repeating her mistakes. The trailer doesn't reveal much, but the tone says everything. There's a fragile energy between Amy and Lindy, one built on love but strained by unspoken expectations. As Amy pushes Lindy to prepare for her next riding show, the stakes grow more emotional than competitive. One quick shot shows Lindy turning away from her mother, tears welling up in her eyes. It's brief, but it says more than words ever could. Heartland has always thrived on those small human moments, where silence speaks louder than anything else. Meanwhile, we catch glimpses of Katie and Lou in a storyline that feels equally charged. Lou's patience seems to be wearing thin as Katie drifts further into secrecy. There's a shot of Lou waiting by the window late at night, phone in hand, her expression a mix of fear and suspicion. Then a brief flash of Katie at a bonfire with someone who looks like Dodger, a figure from the premiere who already hinted at trouble. What's striking is the contrast between the warmth of the flames and the chill in their body language. It's not rebellion for fun, it's rebellion for a reason. The trailer wants us to question what, or who, Katie is protecting. Jack Bartlett, the ranch's steady heartbeat, appears briefly, his face marked with concern. His lines in the voiceover, "Secrets don't disappear, Amy. They just wait for the right time to hurt," set the emotional tone for the entire episode. It's classic Jack, blunt, wise, and deeply human. That single sentence echoes through every frame, hinting that each character in this story has something they'd rather not admit. And in Heartland, when secrets start to surface, hearts are always tested. Then there's Nathan, a name that's slowly becoming impossible to ignore. The trailer gives us just a few seconds of him standing beside Amy near the training ring. Their body language says it all. He's offering support, but Amy's hesitant, her walls still up. Caleb watches them from a distance, his expression unreadable but tense. The show is clearly setting up emotional complications, not through flashy confrontations, but through quiet, believable human tension. When Caleb mutters, "You're not Ty," it's not just a warning, it's a confession that the entire ranch still feels the absence of a man whose presence shaped them all. By the end of the trailer, the atmosphere shifts from calm to uncertain. The lighting darkens, the music slows, and Amy's voice breaks the silence. What if I'm not ready to move on? That question, simple yet heartbreaking, encapsulates everything Heartland Season 19 is about. Moving on doesn't mean forgetting, it means learning to carry the past differently. The episode's title, "Two Can Keep a Secret," isn't just about hidden truths. It's about the weight of love, the burden of memory, and the thin line between protecting someone and pushing them away. Episode 2 promises emotional revelations that will reshape how we see the Heartland family. Amy's struggle to find peace, Lindy's determination to prove herself, Katie's mysterious choices, and Jack's timeless wisdom all intertwine to form a story that feels both fresh and familiar. It's not just another episode, it's a turning point. And if the trailer is anything to go by, what's coming next isn't just about the secrets they keep, but about what happens when those secrets finally demand to be heard. As episode 2 unfolds, Heartland takes us deeper into the emotional crossroads of its characters. where love and truth pull in opposite directions. The trailer hinted at secrets, but the full story reveals that these secrets are not malicious. They're born out of fear, love, and the desire to protect one another. That's what makes this episode so powerful. Every character believes they're doing the right thing, yet every choice creates new ripples that threaten the fragile peace of Heartland Ranch. Amy's journey is the emotional backbone of the episode. She's finally stepped back into the arena, training horses again, but her return isn't as effortless as it once was. The episode opens with a quiet tension, her voice steady, but her movements slightly uncertain. She's rediscovering who she is without Ty, and that rediscovery is both freeing and frightening. Her bond with Lindy, though loving, becomes strained when Lindy's first shows don't go as planned. There's an unspoken fear between them. Amy worries she's pushing too hard, while Lindy feels she'll never measure up to the legacy her parents left behind. It's that invisible emotional distance, not the mistakes themselves, that creates the real conflict. One of the most striking aspects of Two Can Keep a Secret is how it uses silence to speak volumes. There's a powerful scene where Amy watches Lindy in the barn after a failed show. Lindy mutters under her breath, "Maybe I'm not meant for this?" Amy stands in the doorway, her eyes filled with pain, wanting to step forward, but she doesn't. Instead, she lets the moment breathe. That hesitation, that decision to let her daughter face the weight of disappointment alone, marks Amy's growth as a mother. She's learning that love sometimes means stepping back, not stepping in. Meanwhile, the atmosphere around Katie's storyline grows more mysterious. Her actions are puzzling, sneaking out at odd hours, hiding her phone, and lying to Lou. But the writing makes one thing clear. Katie isn't acting out for attention. She's caught in something bigger than herself. The trailer gave us glimpses of her with Dodger, a boy whose motives are unclear. In the episode, that uncertainty becomes the focus. Lou suspects something's wrong, but she's torn between protecting her daughter and trusting her enough to tell the truth. The tension between them is raw, almost painful to watch. Lou's attempts to connect fall flat, while Katie becomes defensive, accusing her mother of never listening. For viewers, it's a reminder that even in a family built on love, miscommunication can build walls faster than anger ever could. And then there's Jack. His quiet wisdom has always grounded the show. But in this episode, he feels more like the emotional mirror reflecting everyone's struggles. His words to Amy, "A lie might save you for a day, but it'll haunt you for a lifetime," carry the weight of years of experience. He's been through loss, regret, and redemption, and now he sees the same patterns repeating in Amy and Lou. Jack's presence doesn't fix problems. It reminds everyone that time doesn't erase pain. It teaches you how to live with it. His advice lands hardest with Amy, who realizes that in trying to protect her daughter from pain, she might be robbing her of the chance to grow stronger. Tim Fleming, ever the stubborn father and grandfather, adds another layer of conflict. His heart is in the right place, but his approach often makes things worse. He tries to guide Katie in his own blunt way, warning her about getting involved with the wrong people. But his words, instead of reaching her, only push her further away. It's a classic Tim moment, fueled by love delivered without finesse. Yet even his missteps serve a purpose. They show how every generation in Heartland struggles with the same fear, the fear of losing the people they love, either to danger or to growing up. As the episode builds toward its midpoint, a quiet unease spreads across Heartland Ranch. Everyone seems to be carrying something they can't say out loud. Amy hides her exhaustion, Lou hides her worry, and Katie hides her truth. Even Nathan, the new steady presence around the ranch, seems to be holding back. His connection with Amy deepens, but so does the discomfort surrounding it. Their friendship, rooted in trust and shared loss, starts to blur emotional boundaries. Amy leans on him for support, not realizing that others are watching. Caleb, in particular, notices the subtle changes. The way Amy's tone softens when she talks to Nathan, or how Nathan seems protective of her in ways that go beyond professionalism. This tension comes to a head in a scene that will likely become one of the season's emotional highlights. Caleb confronts Nathan privately, his voice low but sharp. "You're not Ty," he says, his eyes burning with a mix of anger and grief. Nathan doesn't flinch. His reply, "Neither is Amy who she was," cuts deep. It's not just an argument between two men. It's the show's most honest statement about change. Everyone in Heartland has been trying to preserve the past, pretending that life can somehow return to what it was. But Nathan's words remind us that healing doesn't mean returning. It means transforming. By the time this confrontation ends, the tone of the episode shifts. Amy begins to realize that her life, her daughter, and even her relationships can't be defined by what once was. The ghosts of the past will always be there, but they don't have to control her future. Still, as the title suggests, not everyone is ready to face the truth. The episode's pacing slows, the music softens, and we're left with the uneasy feeling that while some secrets are finally being faced, others are just beginning to form. As Heartland Season 19 Episode 2 moves deeper into its second half, the emotional tone becomes even more layered. Gentle on the surface, but full of quiet turbulence underneath. The calm Alberta landscape contrasts beautifully with the emotional storms each character is battling. This is where the episode begins to shift gears, from secrets being kept to truths starting to unravel. And as always in Heartland, when one truth comes out, it doesn't arrive alone. It brings a wave of consequences that ripple through everyone's lives. Amy's storyline takes a powerful turn. After Lindy's struggles in the ring, Amy begins questioning her approach as both a trainer and a mother. She replays her late husband Ty's lessons in her mind, his patience, his empathy, his belief that every mistake is a message. For the first time, Amy realizes she's been training Lindy like she trains horses, expecting perfection instead of progress. The heartbreak lies in the simplicity of that realization. When Amy finds Lindy quietly grooming her horse, refusing to look up, the silence between them says everything. Amy's voice finally breaks through, soft and vulnerable. You don't have to be me. You don't have to be your dad. You just have to be you. It's not a grand speech, but it's one of the most emotionally grounding moments of the season. The tension between them dissolves, not because everything is fixed, but because honesty has finally entered the space where fear once lived. Meanwhile, Katie's story unfolds in a direction few expected. The truth behind her secret meetings with Dodger begins to surface. What started as innocent friendship is revealed to be tied to something much deeper, a desperate attempt to help someone she cares about. Dodger, struggling with a complicated family issue, had confided in Katie, asking her to keep it hidden. She thought she was protecting him, not realizing how dangerous secrets can become when shared between two teenagers. Lou's discovery of the situation doesn't just ignite anger, it ignites fear. The confrontation between mother and daughter is raw, tense, and heartbreaking. Katie's voice cracks as she insists, "You never trust me," while Lou fires back, "Because you keep giving me reasons not to." It's not about control. It's about love that's terrified of losing its child. This clash between truth and protection mirrors Amy's own struggle, making Episode 2 a beautifully symmetrical story about mothers and daughters trying to navigate the thin line between freedom and fear. The writing doesn't paint anyone as right or wrong. It paints them as human. And that's what makes the tension hit so hard. Every raised voice, every tear, comes from a place of love that doesn't always know how to express itself. In the midst of all this, Jack continues to be the emotional compass of the ranch. His wisdom carries the weight of decades, and his conversations with Amy are some of the most touching in the entire series. There's one scene where Amy sits beside him on the porch, her hands trembling slightly as she admits, "I thought I was ready to move on, but maybe I'm just pretending." Jack looks at her with the gentleness only he can deliver and says, "Ty would want you to live, not wait." It's a line that stops Amy cold. That quiet exchange becomes a turning point, not just for Amy, but for the tone of the episode itself. From that moment on, the focus shifts from holding on to letting go. Nathan's presence in Amy's life continues to create emotional complexity. He's patient, grounded, and understanding, but his calm exterior hides his own pain. In this episode, we learn more about his past, hints of loss, of mistakes he hasn't forgiven himself for. When he shares a small story about a horse he once trained and lost, it mirrors Amy's grief in ways words can't explain. Their connection deepens not through romance, but through shared understanding. It's a subtle bond built on empathy, not attraction. Still, that emotional closeness doesn't go unnoticed. Caleb, protective as ever, remains skeptical. His earlier confrontation with Nathan echoes through the rest of the episode, coloring every interaction between them. One of the most impactful elements of Two Can Keep a Secret is how it weaves multiple emotional threads together without losing focus. Amy's journey toward emotional healing, Katie's internal conflict, and Lou's struggle to balance authority with compassion all feed into the same central question. How far should we go to protect the people we love from the truth? The episode's pacing mirrors that theme perfectly. The first half is quiet and introspective. The second half builds with subtle intensity, drawing viewers into a storm that's more emotional than physical. By the time the third act begins, everything feels heavier, like the air right before a thunderstorm. Amy faces a pivotal moment when Lindy decides to ride again, despite her earlier failures. The buildup is quiet but tense, underscored by the unspoken fear that history might repeat itself. But instead of stepping in, Amy takes a step back. This time, she lets her daughter face her fears alone. When Lindy finishes her ride, imperfect, shaky, but complete, Amy's expression says everything. It's pride mixed with relief, grief mixed with hope. For her, it's not about winning anymore. It's about realizing that healing isn't about erasing the past. It's about finding strength within it. Meanwhile, Lou finally confronts Katie in an emotional scene that feels like a mirror to Amy's moment with Lindy. Their argument turns into tears, their anger into understanding. Lou apologizes, not for being strict, but for being afraid. Katie admits she was trying to protect someone because she thought that's what family does. The tension breaks not through shouting, but through shared vulnerability. For the first time, they see each other not as mother and daughter, but as two people trying to do the right thing in the wrong way. As night falls over Heartland, the ranch feels quieter, but it's the kind of quiet that comes after emotional release, not before it. The characters have faced their truths, but the consequences are still unfolding. The music softens, the skies darken, and we can feel that the real story, the deeper transformations, are only beginning. Every relationship has shifted slightly, every secret has left a scar, and every heart has taken a small step toward healing. Yet one question still lingers in the air. How many more secrets are still waiting to be uncovered at Heartland Ranch? The emotional aftermath of Two Can Keep a Secret settles over Heartland like the soft hush of dusk after a long, turbulent day. Yet, even in its quiet moments, the episode keeps the audience on edge. The beauty of Heartland has always been in its subtlety, the way it uses stillness to carry tension. And in episode 2, that tension feels heavier than ever. It's not about shouting matches or dramatic confrontations. It's about glances that linger too long, smiles that don't quite reach the eyes, and conversations that end one sentence too soon. Every character seems to be standing at a personal crossroads, and every decision they make, no matter how small, feels like it could change everything. For Amy, the crossroads comes when she sits alone in the barn after everyone's gone to bed. The night is still, except for the soft sound of horses breathing. She runs her hand along the saddle tie once used, and it's clear that she's wrestling with something deeper than grief. It's guilt. Guilt for moving forward, guilt for feeling moments of happiness, guilt for even imagining a future without him. This is where Heartland's writing shines best, in showing that love after loss isn't betrayal. It's survival. Amy's silence in this scene is heartbreaking, but necessary. She's finally learning to forgive herself for living. Her relationship with Nathan continues to hover in that uncertain space between comfort and confusion. In one scene, he finds her in the barn and quietly tells her, "You don't have to talk. Sometimes just being here is enough." It's a simple line, but it carries a world of meaning. Nathan doesn't try to fix her pain. He respects it, and in that moment, Amy realizes that not all support needs words. Yet, that very understanding becomes the seed of something more complicated, because emotional closeness has a way of creating new questions. The way Nathan looks at her suggests feelings he hasn't admitted, and the way Amy hesitates before walking away shows she's aware of it too. But she's not ready. Not yet. The show handles this beautifully, giving Amy space to breathe instead of rushing her toward romance. Meanwhile, Caleb's frustration grows. His earlier confrontation with Nathan continues to echo in his mind. Caleb has always been protective of Amy, not out of romantic interest, but out of loyalty to Ty's memory. To him, Nathan's presence feels like a disruption to something sacred. He confides in Jack, admitting he might have gone too far. Jack listens quietly before saying something only Jack could. You can't guard someone's heart by building a fence around it. That single line captures the soul of the episode. It's about letting go, of control, of fear, of the idea that love has to look like it did before. Lou and Katie, still mending from their earlier clash, begin to rebuild trust. Their scenes in the final act are some of the episode's most tender. Lou finally opens up about her own mistakes as a teenager, how she too thought keeping secrets was a form of protection. Katie listens, her anger softening into empathy. The moment they hug feels earned, not forced. It's messy and emotional, just like real reconciliation. Heartland never rushes its emotional payoffs. It lets them grow naturally, and that's what makes this series so relatable. Tim, ever the stubborn patriarch, finds himself in a different kind of reflection. His attempt to guide Katie earlier had backfired, but now, in a quiet moment with Jack, he admits he might be losing touch with what the younger generation needs. Jack's reply, half teasing, half serious, reminds Tim that sometimes the best advice is knowing when not to give any. It's a humorous yet profound reminder that even the most experienced parents are still learning. The emotional through line of the episode culminates in a beautifully orchestrated final sequence. Lindy, after days of hesitation, decides to ride again. But this time, she does it on her own terms. The music swells gently as she saddles her horse at sunrise, her determination replacing the fear that once held her back. Amy watches from a distance, her face calm but proud. When Lindy finishes her ride, she looks back at her mother with a small, confident smile, the kind that says she's finally found her own rhythm. For Amy, it's a moment of quiet triumph. Not because her daughter succeeded, but because she chose to try again. In parallel, Lou and Katie's storyline resolves in a conversation under the same morning light. Lou tells her, "Being honest doesn't always protect you, but it keeps you from losing yourself." Katie nods. The weight of her secret finally lifted. She knows there will be consequences, but for the first time, she feels free. That honesty, fragile yet powerful, becomes the heartbeat of the episode's closing act. As the day fades, Amy visits Jack on the porch for one last talk, a ritual that has come to define the emotional rhythm of Heartland. She admits that she's been scared of truly moving on, not because she doesn't want to, but because she's afraid of losing the part of her that still belongs to Ty. Jack listens, then delivers the line that will stay with viewers long after the credits roll. "You don't lose love by living again, Amy. You carry it with you." The camera lingers on Amy's face as she looks toward the horizon, her eyes glistening, not from pain this time, but from peace. The final moments of episode 2 are pure Heartland magic. The ranch bathed in golden light, the family gathering for breakfast, laughter returning after days of tension. It's a subtle but powerful symbol of healing. Yet, even in this piece, the show leaves us with a whisper of uncertainty. As the screen fades, we see Nathan alone by the stables, staring at an old letter he pulls from his pocket, something he's been hiding. The camera never reveals what's written inside, but his expression says enough. Another secret waits to be told. And it's clear that Amy's journey isn't done yet. By the end of Two Can Keep a Secret, every storyline feels like a thread carefully woven into a larger tapestry of change. Amy has taken her first real step toward acceptance. Lindy has discovered courage through failure. Lou and Katie have rebuilt their fragile trust. And Jack, always the heart of the ranch, reminds us that healing isn't about forgetting those we've lost, but about living in a way that honors them.